What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hold on.
1 second, guys.
We are now live. Let some friends fill into the chat.
Into the chat.
All right, I'm back.
And I feel like I ain't been on a podcast in whoo, been a minute.
It's been a minute.
quite a minute. Yeah, bro. I should have been a guest. No, I'm joking. You should be the guest for sure.
I should have been a guest. You're a very special guest. We're happy to have you.
Why, thank you.
All right.
That wasn't me.
Okay.
Don't y'all miss me.
Facts. All right, let's get started. Yo, welcome everybody to the Safe Space Podcast. We're happy to have you here. Welcome to a space where you can be yourself. Welcome to a space where you can get your ideas out. We got a lot of special people in the room. We have our CEO, Haskell Jackson.
Hey.
What's up, peoples?
We have our clinical director, Stevie McBride.
Yo.
We have our CFO, Sean Donatello.
Yo, it's cracking.
And we have our curriculum director, Sean Lewis, along with our
I'm hopping on right now.
CBO.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for joining.
Super excited. And there is one face that you'll see on here that you haven't seen before. And as soon as the music ends, I'm going to introduce this extraordinary person. So I'm so happy everybody could join us. Let's get into it. So, oh my gosh. First, how's everybody doing?
I'm excited, man.
Good. I hear Big
I
Dog.
heard so much about you. Can't you see the smiles everywhere?
It's a special situation.
We're excited.
It's a special situation. And I'm super excited to be able to introduce this guest who really needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway.
Yeah, she'll take it.
So let me see, where do I begin? Make sure I get this right. In the beginning.
All right.
What's the word? And the word was with you.
And the word. So Exenia is a professional dancer, singer, and artist based on the West Coast. She has a lifetime of dance experience in over 20 styles of solo and partner dance, and recently appeared as a finalist at the U.S. Open Swing Dance Championships in Burbank, California.
Swing dance.
Swing dance.
That's impressive.
Got it.
So, in addition to that, as a vocalist and songwriter, she's worked with Grammy-winning artists and performed at notable venues in NYC and beyond. She's particularly proud of her song Automatic, a beautiful acoustic R&B pop song about the patterned nature of heartbreak, self-sabotage, and personal growth. Her background, spending years and hours on her own personal development and in transitional coaching programs, also informs the way she teaches dance and writes music. She is in the process of transmuting her recent life experiences and personal discoveries into an album of new music, and regularly documents her songwriting and recording process on TikTok and social media, which we'll definitely get into. She seeks to always empower others with tools to be human and fully express themselves. This lifetime, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Exenia. Make some noise. Super happy to have you in the building.
How you doing? How you doing? Good to be here.
So, Exenia, we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, we do. I will say we met in a songwriting camp in Los Angeles, and then we ended up talking about transformational coaching and mental health and music, and I've been excited about this all month. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Let's talk about some things.
Let's talk about some things. So, every podcast we start off the same. We do a check-in, and so generally the check-in is what your highs of the week were, what your lows of the week were, if there were any, and what you're doing for self-care, specifically in this last week. So for me, my high of the week was probably spending time with my mom and my wife in Atlanta this past week, and having some very special family time while on the road performing was a awesome high for me. Low, no real lows this week. Yeah. And as far as self-care, for me, self-care has been just loving myself. Like little things, like just telling myself whenever I pass myself in the mirror, like, you look great. Like just loving myself, like loving on me has been a part of my self-care this week. So yeah.
I'm had that image in my head.
Like, yo, you look great.
Yeah. Walk out the mirror saying you look great.
Yo, I'm about to do a skit like that.
You have to now, bro. Hilarious.
All right, Exenia, all you.
Okay, so highs of the week. I went yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday or the day before? I went rock climbing with a friend of mine. And that was really fun. And then and I think that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I got this really great idea for a new song, and I like tracked out most of the demo and just like knocked it out and got so excited about it all day. And I had such a great day because I was working on music and I was in communication with a lot of different people. And as a very extroverted person, that always makes me feel really good. Like I'm planning a trip to Europe and I'm working on music right now. And then there's dance related things that I'm doing. And I was in communication with people all over the country, all over the world, all day, you know, on different platforms and different messaging services, like all day long. And so I had a lot of social interaction, which felt really good. A low was probably, I got really triggered about something on Friday night. I was out somewhere, just got super triggered, and I had to like cry and talk to a couple friends and calm down. And, you know, I did some self-care in those moments to reset myself and then managed to continue having a fun night. But I really had to just like feel my feelings and work through that and take deep breaths and get through a triggered moment. And sometimes that's what you got to do, you know? And yeah. You're gonna say something?
Oh no, I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
Agreeing with you.
Everybody knows what that's like. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
And then in terms of self-care, I definitely like went to the sauna in the past week. Rock climbing is also self-care. I've been trying to make sure I'm staying hydrated and eating healthy and thinking positive thoughts. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful
Who's next?
thing.
Oh, you popcorn somebody.
Yeah, you choose.
Okay, Stevie, go ahead.
Oh Lord. All right. I wasn't expecting it to be me, but highs for the week. Man, I did a presentation last week for the housing team in Long Beach for crisis intervention, and it was a great workshop. Our CEO actually of my agency, the guidance center, actually dropped in and heard us present, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you guys." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Does that mean raise?" And I don't, but she was proud of us. Also, a high for the week is that I'm getting a flux of clients, which is crazy. Like I'm getting a whole bunch of like clients right now, and I actually don't have room for everybody. So if y'all know other therapists who are looking for clients, I got some.
All right.
And let's see what else. Low for the week. I'm not going to tell all of the story of the low because it was it was wild. So I've never heard of two first graders doing things that are adult-like. So this was the first time I've ever heard of anything like this. I'm not going to get into details because I'm going to keep this super G-rated. But it was nasty. And what was the worst part about it? What was the worst part about it is that the parents both laughed about the issue, like ha ha ha, like it was funny. And I was like,
Nah.
I wasn't really feeling that response, yo. So I was like, let's get DCFS on the phone. So the principal had to make that call while I was at the school and whatnot. And yeah. And you know, when the cameras are off, we can talk about this later. But I'll let y'all know what actually went down in the DM. Nah.
Come on, man. It's a safe space, bro. It's a safe space.
Safe space. I know, but I don't feel that face for the be safe. Look at Haskell shaking. Like I work with kid actors all the time, bro. No.
That's safe, bro. It's not that safe.
It gets really real.
Nah. Yeah, man, a little too real. Self-care. I got a new whole workout routine, so it's going well. I'm a little bummed though that my knee is acting up on me, but it comes with old age, I guess. My hooping days are shortening up as I speak. So, but other than that, workouts have been great. Shout out to Dwayne Lee, my trainer. And I'm gonna popcorn. Dun, da, da, da. Haskell Jackson in the building. Yeah, you know it's coming.
Man, sorry to hear about that, Stevie. I know that hit you a certain way, man. See, you know.
Yeah, I have a daughter, so yeah.
Yeah, man. That hurts my heart. A high for me. I got my drums. My electric drums are in my booth now. They are killing. Jay was able to see them. So we've been doing workshops with some of my kids and teaching them drums and piano and different things like that. So they're super excited. So got the drums going. My low. I don't have too many lows. Just been kind of like in a middle place, you know. But all is good. I'm really, really trying to get back to riding my bike. but it's been raining so much, man. It's like the weather has been crazy, but I've been loving the rain, but I'm not trying to ride my bike in the rain. I'm not trying to fall like I did before. And then self-care, that is a part of the self-care. I have not been riding my bike. I've been wanting to. So I will start back on Monday. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna help Cynthia through this challenge. She's doing 4x4x4 by 48. So
Sheesh. What?
So yeah, she's
Wow.
gonna do 4 miles every 4 hours for 7, I think it's 7 rounds. So
Bruh.
start tomorrow night at 12 o'clock. And then it's going then 4 o'clock in the morning, she'll run 4 miles. Then 8 o'clock in the morning, she'll run 4. Then 12 noon, she'll run 4. Then 4 p.m., she'll run 4 miles. Then 8 p.m., she'll run 4. Then 12. So for the next 2 days, this madness is going on.
Oh my God.
So the guy's name is
David Goggins. It's David Goggins.
Yeah. He's a
That
beast.
guy
what
is
it
all
is.
about. He's all about transcending like your mind with your body. That's like
Yes. Did you do it?
No, but I'm familiar and it's into.
I was gonna let my wife know you can do it with her. More than welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
What's up?
Enjoy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so that's coming up tomorrow night. So yeah, that's it. I'll popcorn it to and stop. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My high for this week has been getting into playing the keys. So I was able to get to Guitar Center today and just spend some time playing the illest keyboard and just getting lost in that. So that was my high. I got a new couch on the way that I'm looking forward to enjoying with the missus. And the low is that it hasn't come in yet. So we're just kind of chasing them to deliver our stuff. But
enjoy the couch, brother.
My self-care, yeah, man, got to do it. Self-care for this week is just getting more playing in, man. Just getting more leisure playing, getting music. So, yeah. I'm a popcorn it to Sean Don.
John Donnie in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Highs for the week. I didn't get a keyboard, but I'm starting to see some progress with my vocal instrument. So I've been exercising regularly. It's a lot. It's a lot to sing in, bro. It's a lot. I didn't even know, because people make it look so effortlessly. That doesn't fit there. But people make it look so effortless. There it is. And it's not. It's not. It's not at all, man. And it sucks for me. But I've been seeing some progress. So that's a high for the week. Lows for the week. No lows, ladies and gentlemen. This was a no low type of week. I hit all my goals. Self-care, I've been sleeping at a regular time. Just sleeping. I took a nap the other day. So yeah, I'm winning.
Wow.
I took a nap. Yeah, you know what? It's nap time. And who's gonna know?
How would they know? How? That's a
So that's it. Good. Popcorn, Miss CBO.
Hey, everybody. So highs for the week. Still kind of on a high from the Atlanta show last week. But in that, I've been trying to stay out of a low place. I kind of didn't receive the very best news this week. So it's been hard trying to balance the excitement and then the sadness, I should say, that I feel. So I'd rather not get into the low of the week. But
You just brought me low.
I'm
low
sorry,
right now.
Haas. No, bring it back up. Bring it back up.
Hey.
I'll be all right. Things will be all right. They always are. It's just, I received some news I wasn't expecting to receive coming home from like such a exciting event. So yeah. And as far as self-care, just allowing myself to feel when I need to feel, and just continuing to work on staying out of a dark place. That is my self-care for the week.
Go.
We got you, Leash.
I know you do, man. I know y'all do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were just talking about the importance of having a safe space and having community to lift you up and hold you accountable. It's invaluable. So, Exenia, got some questions for you.
Let's go. Questions. I like questions.
Yeah.
So we checked in, and now I want you to let me know and let the people know, what has your experience been with music and mental health?
Okay, yeah. So I think personally, there's music, consuming music as a fan, and then there's music as an artist, as a singer, as a maker of music, right? And I think generally, people listen to music now as a tool. They don't just listen to it as an art form, right? People are getting on Spotify, getting online, I feel sad, I want to listen to that Adele record, right? And I want to clarify or amplify or indulge my emotional state with the music that I'm listening to. Or I really need to get hyped up for this workout, I'm going to listen to some Calvin Harris mixes or, house music or whatever it is, right? So people use music as a tool, and I definitely do that. And I also think it can help you clarify what you're feeling emotionally. I think as a culture, we don't do a great job. We're starting to shift this, but a lot of us were parented in a way we were not really encouraged to name our feelings, really feel them and name them. A lot of what we do culturally is we tell kids to immediately go into fixing and surviving them. So don't cry. I mean, you want to see people's discomfort with emotionality in our culture, start crying in front of them. They'll be like, oh no, don't cry. Oh, what's wrong? Oh no, you're crying. It's immediately such a miserable, negative thing. And people have to learn to hold space with those kind of emotions. Or a lot of kids are not really allowed to feel anger. Don't talk back to me. Don't talk to me in that tone. Watch your tone, fix your face, pick up your feet, right? So a lot of the parenting culture, although it is shifting, and I'm really encouraged to see the movement around this online, around gentle parenting and around how we talk to kids. Watched the video of a 4-year-old yesterday saying, I told Papa when he was upset to breathe slow and make a smart choice. And I went, oh my God, this little boy is 4. If all people up with that kind of language and permission around their feelings, he says to his mom, I'd had a hard time doing my emotions today. I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? So I'm really encouraged to see it shifting. But a lot of us were taught as kids to don't cry, don't be angry, don't feel your feelings. And then if you're not allowed to feel them or express them safely with adults, right, you also don't get to name them with nuances. I think in the work of nonviolent communication, there's a feelings wheel people are encouraged to use, because anger can be resentment, anger can be frustration, right? Sadness can be grief, sadness can be disappointment. And if you're going through something in your life, you better believe there is someone who's a songwriter who's also gone through that same thing, and they have put out some music about it. And then when you listen to it, you're like, oh my God, I feel so seen. I feel so gotten. I feel so understood. So I think listening to music has often been helpful for me to clarify what I'm actually feeling you know, and it's good to clarify that also instead of bypassing, because we grow up in a culture of bypassing. And then as a person who sings and who makes music, I mean, as a dancer, right? Like dancing is obviously incredibly good for your mental health. So just being able to dance for hours, especially partner dance, you get all this oxytocin, you get dopamine, you know, you get exercise, you get all these endorphins and you feel amazing. I've done Tae-Bo for years, like with Billy Blanks, and he's counting to 8 throughout his workout. So he's counting dance bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you start the set. So, you know, kickboxing is very much like dancing. So I've always liked Tae-Bo, like since the 90s, you know, and every time I'm working out or I'm moving or I'm dancing, I'm obviously connecting with music and like working through feelings in my body. Sometimes being a singer and a songwriter, music has like been a negative thing for me because I'm procrastinating about writing a song or finishing music, or I'm beating myself up that I haven't put out more music. Or I'm not more productive in my career. So sometimes like as a maker of music, I start letting that process negatively affect my mental, emotional well-being. And then sometimes like in recent months, I find myself writing songs that are really helping me clarify parts of my emotional experience. In the past 1 to 2 years, you know, I've gone through like a cross-country move, a breakup, and then the breakup was challenging for me because it was this perfect storm where it happened in a new city where I didn't really have any friends of my own, and we're very socially enmeshed, so we would see each other all the time. And then there were elements of that were very stressful for me to manage mentally and emotionally. And then there was like another move, and then there were more stressful elements of that dynamic. And then there was another move. And then there was like a car accident. And then there was a flood in my apartment. And then there was another car accident. And then I lost my job. And so like over 30, life has been kicking my ass sometimes. You know, life has been like very difficult. And I think of myself as such a tough person. But I have often felt pretty tested in my ability to derive joy, derive gratitude from those experiences. And music has often been like the calming, saving grace. Like sometimes the way that I've distracted myself from my emotional stress is just playing through guitar chords, basic guitar chords over and over. And then after an hour, 2, 3 hours of doing that, I feel so proud of myself. And I've kind of vacationed from my stress. And then recently I started writing songs more about what I went through, right? Like I wrote this, and the demo of it is on TikTok now. And this melody is so pretty to me. It goes, these hands used to hold you tight. These hands used to hold you all night. These hands used to pull you close. Now these hands need to learn how to let go. And that came into my head one day. And I was like, God, this is beautiful. I'm so grateful that this heartbreak happened to me, because I would have never come up with that if I hadn't gone through that. And in moments like that, I've been able to transmute the sense of grief, the sense of loss, the sense of change, you know, or aloneness that I've gone through in the past year into creativity and pride and gratitude. So, you know, it's been a mixed bag, but my whole life I've been using music as a tool for my mental health. And I think it's one of the most powerful tools there is.
How long were you in your relationship?
Almost 3 years. You know, and then
And was it someone you knew for a long time before, or?
Not really, but we shared a passion together because we both danced. And so we were very we were living together during the pandemic. We were very socially enmeshed. And even after we split, we had to see each other all the time. And at certain moments we were or were not on good terms, you know, and it's challenging to realize that you can't rely on someone emotionally the way that you could before, you know, and to feel like you're not just losing your partner, you're losing your best friends, and you're doing that while starting your life over in a new city. That was just such a perfect storm of stress and trauma for me. And I have a lot of like abandonment trauma in my childhood. And I think it drove a lot of that to the surface as well. And I recently had a little bit of a psychedelic mushroom experience. And what came up for me on that little trip was some version of like I'm alone. Like in Landmark's work, Jay and I have both done the Landmark Forum, which is really powerful coaching work, transformational coaching work. They have you look all the time at like fundamental, inauthentic stories that come up for you. And one of the most common ones for human beings is I'm alone or I'm on my own. You're not. There's 70 billion people on the planet. That's ridiculous. So I was like doing a little mini trip, and I was with a friend, and he got up to go to the bathroom, and I was like, where are you going? You're leaving me. And I went, whoa, girl, there's your abandonment trauma, like right there.
Wow.
Right? And then I had these visions of ways I was made to be alone as a kid. And like I was, my father kind of leave my life. I had like my brother pass away, my grandmother pass away. People just leave or pass away, all very young, before I was like 5 years old. And then when I was in a committed relationship, some inner child part of me was like, I'm not alone. I have this person with me all the time, especially in quarantine. We're on top of each other all the time. We're in the same little space all the time, which was also very stressful, right? And then when he left, it was like, oh no, I'm alone again. And I saw this when I was on mushrooms, and I wasn't even doing that much, okay? So
when I was on mushrooms.
So psilocybin is a real trauma therapy. I've also been doing EMDR trauma therapy the past year, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And it uses bilateral movements of the hands or the eyes, which is what happens when you walk, to lower the activation of your amygdala. And like, I started pursuing these somatic kind of physical therapies in the aftermath of this heartbreak, because I realized that the coaching tools I had relied on were not getting me past it. And it was also a situation that was like I said, socially enmeshed. Like, even when I think I'm making progress, I find myself in situations where I'm triggered to have thoughts and feelings about it again, over and over, because as a professional West Coast swing dancer, I'm seeing this person in a new context, in a different way, all the time, in person. And most people, when they go through breakups, it's just not like that. Okay. Like, I wouldn't recommend this type of experience to anybody. And it was very challenging. So I had to learn different tools to cope with that kind of stress. And I've leaned on, landmark tools, therapy tools, and even some psychedelic tools. And I've been very grateful for those experiences. And one of the things I'll say also that I took away from what I saw when I was, in that altered state, was that like, it is a fundamental, inauthentic, common thing for human beings. You don't wake up into, wow, I'm so connected to everyone and everything. You wake up into separateness. You wake up into, I'm alone and I got to get through life on my own, and when you're on mushrooms, you're like, man, I'm connected to everything, man. Like, you have all the characteristic hippy dippy insights of realizing how connected you are to everything, and how all that matters is the present moment, man. You're going to have insights like that. Right. And I also kind of remembered, like, well, I'm not alone. Not only am I not alone, most of the time, I'm masterful at creating the connection that I need. And recently, like, I found myself really building that support network, both locally and internationally, because I'm about to take a trip to Europe and I'm going to be dancing there and making music there. And it's really cool to be getting messages at all hours of the day about stuff that you like to do, because you got, bros and area codes and like just friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
how are you doing now, coming out of all of that? And what span of time was that where you felt like a lot of that was just kind of piling up on you?
Yeah, it really happened in like summer of 2021. And then it seemed to happen kind of again, like about a year ago. Because for a while I really wanted to save the relationship that I was in, and I was kind of grasping and like clinging to it in a way. And I still have a lot of mixed thoughts and feelings about that experience. And Jay and I have talked about this quite a bit. Right now, my focus is really to like transmute what I've been through and write music about it. Because like the work that I've done on myself, I mean, I can see that I'm grateful that it happened. Right? I have mixed feelings and thoughts about it a lot of the time, but I'm also really grateful because some of the song ideas, some of the things I've done, I took a really cool trip to Mexico. I'm about to take this trip to Europe. Like, some of the things that I've gotten to do as a result of it, finding my new apartment, making certain friends, bonding with them over similar experiences. Like, I can look back now and say, wow, I'm so grateful that life hit me so hard at 30, 31, 32, because look at how much I grew as a result of that. It is a very uncomfortable way to grow, to be losing things or having relationships change, but it's growth nonetheless, What's up, Sean?
I have a question. At what point did you realize that you were actually grateful? Like, and what led you to come to understanding all of this as this is something I should be grateful for. Because usually when I'm in the moment of something dark, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm so glad to be here right now. Thank you guys. Like I'm not thinking. So like what helped you transition into grateful?
I feel like the thing that helped me with that was often just being really present and savoring moments and noticing like, wow, this wouldn't have happened unless, like when Jay and I met and we were at that songwriting event, right? Like the song that I was writing was very much pulled from my real life. I've written some stuff that's sad. I've written some stuff that's bittersweet. I've written some stuff that's, bitter and petty and angry. I've written some stuff that's funny. I've written some stuff that's like really sweet, really loving, really reflective. And every time I've come up with something, I've been like, wow, this is cool that I have this tool that I can use to express myself, But like I was on a trip to Mexico shortly after I went through this change in my life. And I was like, wow, this would not have happened if it weren't for X, right? And then of course, within the next week, within the next month, I also had moments I was crying and miserable over it, So life is like this. Life is breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown. And you have to be able to manage the breakdowns to get to the breakthroughs. And that's like a whole skill. But in the moments where I've felt good, I have found myself like being grateful for the things that I've been through that got me to this point, right? In the moments where I don't feel so good, it's not so easy to be like, wow, I'm so grateful. I still have I'm like angry and upset and I don't feel grateful for the hard things that I've been through. But I try to like actively practice gratitude as well. I really value that kind of outlook on life. Like I really believe life is about finding joy and finding gratitude. And like I said, I feel like the last 1 to 2 years, the universe has tested my ability to do that, and I've at times almost felt ashamed, like, what's wrong with me? I'm usually so positive. Why am I so upset about this or upset about that? And what I can say was, in a lot of ways, looking back, like it makes sense. It was a perfect storm of things. I do think, speaking to Haskell's question, that I have been turning corners recently. I still have complicated feelings, thoughts, emotions. I am a person who's dealt with a lot of grief in the last couple years. I'm not on the other side of it. Like I don't feel any of that ever, anytime, in those moments where I'm triggered, I feel that. I feel my feelings. I work through it. I do breath work. I do whatever I got to do. I don't suppress what I'm feeling. If anything, in an effort to work through recent things I've been through, I've been indulgent with my feelings. And sometimes, I have to, okay, that's enough. Let's turn the corner again. Right. But I have been turning corners and putting my attention less on things I went through or on people I want to be attached to, and more on like myself and my life and my actual goals, right? Because if I can turn this heartbreak into money, well, it'll all be good.
Of course.
There you go.
I might have to just Taylor Swift his ass. Like, we'll see. Okay.
Hey.
Responsibly, respectfully.
Respect.
What would you tell your I guess 3 years prior self before you got into that relationship? Had you known, what if you
thought about this?
What would you say to yourself?
I've thought about this. Like, if I could go back in time, would I tell myself to go the other way or not do certain things so as to avoid the challenges that I went through? Would I not have moved to California from New York City? Would I not have put myself in that relationship, knowing what I know now? Well, first of all, you can't go back in time. Like you can't
go back in time. But did you ignore any red flags?
Yes, you can.
Okay, we can talk about that later, Sean. But there were definitely, I think in every relationship there are yellow flags and red flags that you step over or you overlook because there are other things that are green lights for you that you focus on, and you're getting enough of what you want and you need, and something feels right at the time. I do feel like, I don't know if this answer might change or if this is like 100% thoroughly true, but I've been feeling lately like I wouldn't change anything because the songs I'm writing are just so good.
Almost
Like,
makes it worth
Keep it on break.
the pain.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I like it. I love the apartment that I live in, like some of the friends that I have, I do think that I have like a lot of thoughts and feelings about things about the situation I wish I could change. I wish the person that I was with, I wish we were on like better terms. I wish we could have certain conversations. I do wish that it hadn't been so uniquely uncomfortable, right? I kind of wish that I was still living in New York City, like when I went through all these changes. Part of the reason the stuff that I went through in the past year were so intense was because I was like in a new place, with like a new job and like really restarting and reinventing my whole life. And that was like really difficult to just I had no furniture. Do you know what I mean? And like every single change, it's really easy also to slip into resentment. Like, well, if I hadn't gone through this, I wouldn't have to be spending all this money on this furniture right now. And that's not literally true, like, because if it ain't, in the words of Luther Vandross, like, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Like, you still have to go through.
Woo, that's the jam.
Don't know that album. But yeah, like I had to turn it into a lovely day many times.
That's good. That's good.
Referencing Luther tracks, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I would necessarily change overall what I went through. I think there are parts of it I wish I could have made more comfortable, but then maybe I wouldn't have been learning as intensely, because sometimes the most uncomfortable things are the most helpful for your growth and for your learning. This is very much my attitude, like conceptually. There are definitely moments where, Jay's listened to some really annoyed voice messages from me. Like there are definitely moments where I'm not in that space of like, oh, I'm great, learning. I'm like, and just really, excuse my profanity. There's definitely moments where it's just harder. Like life is like this. So I'm in a good mood today though. I'm on a podcast.
Yeah.
That's
I had a question. Got it.
Yeah. So I've tried to have a growth mindset is what I'm saying. Anything I've tried to see it as this is going to be good for my growth. And it's very much aligned with what I learned at Landmark. You look at the story you tell versus what happened. In these situations, you could say, oh, this person doesn't care about me, or that person betrayed me, or that person doesn't respect me, or this situation is unfair, or people are not being kind enough to me. And like, you can just look at it as facts instead of adding so much narrative. And I've had to learn over the last 8 years of my life doing that kind of work to be responsible for the narrative that I bring to every situation. And there are moments I don't want to do that. There are moments I am right, and I luckily can write a bitter song first and then go back to being a responsible adult. But like I try to be responsible for the narrative that I bring to these situations, and also put myself in positions to go get tools. Because if you're suffering through something, I believe suffering is optional. I believe things happen to you so you can grow. And I believe that it's up to you to find the joy and the gratitude and get to the other side of it. So if I believe all of that, it is my responsibility to then deal with what's in the way of me living those values, right? So there are therapies and plants and things that I've discovered, fungi that I've discovered in the process of like living those values that I'm also excited about, so I know I'm going to look back at this time in my life and be like, oh, that was hard, but I learned a lot, and look at all these songs I wrote.
What do you mean by when you said suffering is optional?
I think suffering is optional because suffering comes a lot from the story you tell about something. So like you can be in a situation like this person betrayed me, they don't care about me, and you're not suffering over what they said or did. You are suffering over the belief that they don't care about you or that they betrayed you. And you're allowed to have an opinion. That's the loophole. You're allowed to have an opinion. Well, I don't think they're expressing care for me, and I think they betrayed me, and how I would handle that. You're allowed to have those opinions and points of view about the situation, but sitting there being righteous and being unconscious to the narrative that you're adding will make you suffer, and so I think emotions are not optional. As a human being, you have to you have to go through those, but suffering is when you kind of indulge those emotional states and you don't do the work to unpack what has me continually sitting here feeling down or bad about my life or hard on myself or whatever. I think a lot of times when you go through hard things in life, you also feel like, what's wrong with me? Why did I get myself into this situation? Or why did I make that choice? Like you do have that sense of regret. Like, I wish I could go back. And then somehow it benefits you. And if you're present to it, like I was saying to Sean earlier, if you're present to it, you can see, wow, look at how this actually played out for my benefit. The silver linings are there all the time if you look for them. So I try to look for them. It's easier when you've gotten more sleep, I will say.
You know what's crazy is that I know because you're on the podcast, we automatically believe that you were the good. So we believe like you weren't the one that caused the chaos, and believing like whatever he did, like he's the bad guy. But I have to be transparent and say, did you cause any bad moments?
Oh yeah, I have a pretty textbook anxious and secure attachment pattern.
Okay, let's get down to it.
So I can be.
Let's talk about it.
I can be somebody, who nags a partner like about the way they eat or the way they live or think or whatever.
Because I think what we try to do on the podcast is we create a safe space, but a lot of life happens and we have situations that we were the cause of, or we helped, cause some issues or pain or whatever. Okay. So I kind of want to hear some of those things from you, being transparent. Like, what do you think some of the things that you added to the situation?
Yeah, I'm hesitant to get into too many details because I do.
You don't have to. No, you can just say, we'll get it.
People within
we know that.
It's a safe space. Remember,
people within the shared people within the shared community that I'm a part of may in fact end up watching this, and they know both of us. But a lot of my friends have heard me talk about this. Like, I'm very willing to take responsibility for ways that I created stress and anxiety in my own relationship.
Yeah.
Once I saw those things, I was very much also willing to work on them and say, I want to learn secure attachment. I don't want to make a partner deal with my anxiety. I'm anxious in a relationship that I make a good choice, that I choose a good person. That's just anxiety that I deal with. I don't know, because people in my life have abandoned me in the past or lied to me or been dishonest or whatever it is. And so I'm in a relationship not trusting myself or feeling anxious. And then I'm like, we got to talk about this right now. I'm maybe wanting to create a conflict subconsciously so that I can prove that you really do care about me and love me or something like that. And
whoa, wait a minute. Say that again.
Sometimes
that was heavy.
Sometimes when you're anxious in a relationship, you will subconsciously like a certain amount of conflict. First of all, no conflict can be kind of boring in a relationship. Most people would agree on that. But like, people sometimes seek conflict because you want the other person to then resolve it with you in a way that makes you feel cared about, or you're anxious because you don't trust yourself. Should I be in this relationship? Should I be with this person? And you're like, maybe I should be with someone else. I mean, there's a book called The Attachment Theory Workbook, where there's an example that's given where it describes an anxiously attached person with a secure person. And the anxiously attached person, they're looking at committing, being married, being in a long-term, lifelong partnership together. And the anxious person is like, how do you know we're really good for each other? I'm more adventurous than you. Like, I like to travel. Like, what if I should be with someone else? Maybe you should be with someone else. And the secure person is able to say, we'll work it out. We'll be fine. What are you worried about? And secure people can't always relate to what an anxious person is going through. Anxious person can't relate. They're like, why aren't you worried? Don't you even care about me? Right? So,
wow, great scenarios, man.
That's awesome.
Your attachment style, learning your attachment style can be so valuable for understanding those things. I feel like I ended up thinking about them later than I wanted to in that situation. But yeah, there are definitely ways I would make the person that I was with deal with how anxious I felt, instead of unloading that properly with a coach, a therapist, or a professional, or a friend, or processing it with someone else before I go bring it to them. And in coaching speak, a person with an anxious and secure attachment pattern is a person who's more prone to more storytelling right? A person with a more secure attachment pattern has perhaps a little less narrative. They have a little more self-trust, a little less anxious narrative that just comes up. And then there are people who are avoidant, and there are people who are secure who get avoidant because they're with somebody anxious, and that's, you know, annoying for them or whatever. And then you have people who've had really abusive, chaotic attachment patterns because of terrible things that they've gone through. I'm sure that Stevie's familiar with everything I'm saying, right? So learning that stuff can be really valuable. And I will say that, like, learning to manage those anxious feelings in a relationship is a skill that I'm really committed to developing. Because if you have this pattern, instead of a relationship being a comforting, wonderful contribution to your life, a relationship is a new problem to solve. I mean, we're together now. Are you sure about that? You sure you want to be with me? Are you sure? Is this working? Are we good? Are you good? Are we sure about this? Like, now you have a whole new problem because you have a pattern that comes from your childhood that it's up to you to resolve. In the words of Will Smith, it's not your fault, but it's damn sure your responsibility, you know? So yes, Haskell, I take responsibility for various things that worked and that didn't work in my most recent relationship and in my life.
Okay.
I got a question.
I appreciate you.
Are we going to get into a song first?
Oh, you can
Got to.
Did you just play the Academy wrap it up?
Oh, you know, did.
As soon as I have a question.
Yeah.
Yo, it sounded like the question was about music.
It was.
And you know what we about to do.
So we got to play some music right now.
It's time
Let's
to play
go.
the music, bro.
So let's get into this song.
go behind the.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
So do you want me to introduce the song, or do you want to play it first?
I'll play it.
Okay, go play.
Nobody has to break your heart. For you, it's automatic, baby. You'll always tear yourself apart. You gotta have it, baby. That is a place that you know how to get to, so you'll always go. It's automatic. It's automatic. You could have everything you need, but it's never enough. At the end of the rainbow, you won't look up. You'll try and plant a seed, then you'll make sure to run. You'll always be halfway to love, halfway to love. Because nobody has to break your heart. For you, it's automatic, oh baby. You'll always tear yourself apart. You gotta have it, baby. That is a place that you know how to get to, so you'll always go. It's automatic. It's automatic. Don't you know you could have everything you want, but you'll stay full of doubt. You know you gotta prove them wrong when they say that it'll work out. It'll work out. You'll put the pictures up, then you'll let them fall down. You'll run and run halfway around, halfway around. Because your machine has got you rolling off the cliffs. Though you say you're trying to lift back up, back up. Now here you are again, looking out the window like this. You say you got a problem you always miss. Isn't it enough? It's time to switch your settings, a little more letting someone in. Forgive and start forgetting where you've been. Ain't that the point? 'Cause at this point nobody has to break your heart. For you it's automatic, baby. Hey, you'll always tear yourself apart. You gotta have it, baby, because that is a place that you know how to get there. You always go. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. You gotta have it. Gotta break your habit. It's automatic. It's automatic. Oh, it's automatic. Oh, automatic. Ooh, it's automatic. It's automatic. Automatic, automatic. It's automatic. Oh, it's automatic. Automatic, automatic. It's automatic.
Yo.
Yo, that was jamming.
Yeah, that's
That
fun.
song was incredible.
Were you talking to yourself?
I'll tell myself and everybody. What'd you like most about it, Sean? What made you say that?
Because I was like, she's definitely not talking to me.
No, I'm asking Sean why he said right. Why'd you say that?
Man, I was the chords that you used in the movement, in the progression, it kind of created a cyclical conversation where you're kind of bringing out the positives and the negative. And the way that the chords kind of paired with those positive statements and the negative statements, it was like, it's definitely a conversation with yourself, but also like a friendly conversation with whoever you care about. Like, here's the good stuff, but here's the negative stuff too. And whatever you're feeling, it's automatic.
Yeah.
It's all gonna come back. It's all gonna get balanced. You may feel great right now. It may go into sorrow. But whatever you're feeling is where you're supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to feel. You're gonna feel better. There's just kind of weighing both of those scales. And
thank you.
The way that you layered it was incredible. I was feeling moved as you kept going.
Thank you so much. It's always so nice to hear what other people hear from it. I think it's the best song I've ever written, or one of the best songs I've ever written. It started, I was walking through New York City and I was doing this to myself. I started singing, it's automatic. It's automatic. And this was like how it started as an idea. And then the words one day just kind of spilled out, and it's about how, there's a transformational comedian who has a bit where he says this: you break your own heart. Nobody breaks your heart. They break your expectations. And like, it's about how heartbreak can be just like love, can be this place that you go, you know how to get there because you have a pattern. And in all of these landmark courses I was doing, I was learning how people have blind spots, and the blind spots will just keep playing out until you discover what they are and interrupt them. And the song is very much about that. And my favorite section is probably the bridge, because that line, your machine has got you rolling off the cliffs, though you say you're trying to lift back up. In transformational work, they talk about how you're a machine, you're a meaning-making machine, and your machinery will have you automatically doing things without being aware of them, because they're your trauma responses, your survival patterns. And so I loved the idea of like this visual of a machine who will continually roll itself off of a cliff. But as human beings, we say we're not doing that. Human beings are like, I'm really working on finding love. I'm really, I just want to be happy. Meanwhile, you're complaining and you're sabotaging yourself and you pretending that's what you're doing, that's what you're wanting, but really you're being unconscious and you're stuck in your patterns. Now here you are again, looking out the window like this. That's the character in the movie who's having a pensive scene, heartbroken, looking out the window or the window of the train or whatever, or it's raining, you know, again, you say you got a problem, you always miss. This is you not taking responsibility. Isn't it enough? Aren't you sick of yourself? Because a lot of times that's what makes people transform, is when they hit a moment of they realize the impact of their pattern and they get frustrated with themselves or themselves. And I say it's time to switch your settings, because as a human being, each of us has a wiring. And a lot of the work, the inner work of transformation, is resetting or rewiring yourself. Maybe a little more letting someone in is like, maybe you could invent the possibility of being vulnerable or being open or something. Because I've seen people in coaching settings slice through their patterns by identifying them and then inventing something new. And you could forgive and start forgetting where you've been is really me saying that life is either about getting better or standing still. Like you're growing or you're standing still, right? But we tend to not forget the past. We tend to drag it around. So I'm saying you could forgive yourself. You could forgive people that have been with you, have made you feel whatever kind of way, and start forgetting, as in let the past be in the past. Ain't that the point? Isn't that the point of life? Grow or stand still, right? Because at this point, nobody has to break your heart. And I love when a line from a verse transitions perfectly in the sentence to the chorus. As a songwriter, I think that's like a very unique skill, like transitional language. And so being able to like have the sentence continue, but also start a new phrase is exciting to me when I can find those right words. So, I'm just really proud of how all that turned out.
Really nice song. Really nice joint. He had some Tori Kelly runs in there.
Hey, thank you. We love Tori Kelly. Thank you.
Oh, we love Tori Kelly. Now you got a dope vibe, like for real.
Thank you so much.
Songwriting, singing, you dancing, you doing a whole lot. Yeah, that's dope. Bringing light to the world, man.
Thank you.
And with that, we want to go ahead and wrap up. We actually went a little over because the song was so dope.
Oh,
it needed some time. It needed its time. So we usually wrap with letting our guests give a shout out to whoever they want to shout out.
Okay, I'm gonna give a shout out. A shout out. Who am I gonna give a shout out to? I'm gonna give a shout out to my best friend Mickey, who's always been super encouraging to me. Just super positive, super encouraging. I'm gonna give a shout out to Richard, who played guitar on that song, arranged it with me. He'd play a chord and I'd say, no, what chord is that? And he'd go find it for me. So I was arranging it like by ear, and he was working with me, and he recorded it with me. Shout out to Alan, the Grammy-winning mastering engineer who helped me record it, mix it, and master it. And shout out to my mom for being so supportive. And shout out to y'all for listening to me.
Hell yeah.
Go on about all these things I'm passionate about, and sitting here talking about being a human with me. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
That's fine, man.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
So happy.
Podcast.
Absolutely. So happy you could join us. Everything started with a song. And that's what's so hilarious about our journeys in life. So, welcome to the family, Exenia.
Thank you so much. I will say, if anybody wants to find me and follow along with the process of documenting my journey as a dancer, as a singer, as a songwriter, you can find me on Instagram at Exenia Music. It's EXENIA Music, or on TikTok at Exenia Rocco. Or you can, send me a message, tell me what you think of the music, or give me travel tips for Europe. And thank you all so much. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the studio.
Shout out to Exenia. Give it up, y'all. Give it up.
Top it going.
Much love. All right, the last thing we do, we take a selfie. As he plays the music, we're gonna take a selfie. So get them smiles ready, get them pearly whites ready.
It's automatic.
All right, here we go.
It's automatic.
I'll take 2 of them,
It's automatic.
and then I'm gonna put them in the chat so you can download it. All right, here we go. 1,
It's automatic.
2, 3. All right, let's get one more. All right, 1, 2, do a different face. And 3.
Nobody has to
All right, let me
break
put them in
your
the chat
heart.
for y'all.
For you, it's automatic.
Yeah, this is jamming.
baby.
It's jamming, man.
Yeah, it is.
You'll
Proud of you.
always tear yourself apart.
This gonna be the song of the week right here.
You know, I heard a little Tamia in there too.
Yes. Yes.
That is a